Hi, welcome to my channel, Zen and Fit. Today I actually wanted to talk about certain signs to look for if you're in an unhealthy relationship, or basically to consider. But before I jump right in, if you could please hit the like and subscribe button and also share with anyone you know. On my channel, I discuss various topics from mental health to general wellness and also general lifestyle topics. So I know in the media there's been a lot of conversations about, of course, certain celebrities and their relationships. And, this video I'm not discussing, celebrity relationships, but it brought to mind just kind of looking within ourselves when we're in a relationship or we're pursuing a relationship. What are some of the things that we should look for that could be considered unhealthy? Unhealthy behavioral patterns in the partner that we're seeking out. If you're currently in a relationship and you notice that you consistently have to, not to say belittle yourself, but kind of dim yourself down to make your partner feel comfortable, that's something to really take heed of. Because when you're in a healthy relationship, your partner should be supporting you and you should be supportive of them as well. It should be reciprocal. And if you're constantly having the concern that, I don't want to discuss my successes because it may make my partner feel uncomfortable, or they may get upset, it may make them angry to hear about something I accomplished recently, whether it's in your personal life or a professional career, whatever the case may be for you. That's something to really think about. Is that something is that a relationship you want to be in long term if you're constantly having to worry about things like that? If it really sounds like your partner is not supportive of you and is actually jealous and envious of you, is that a healthy relationship? And only you can answer that for yourself. Sometimes it's good to make a note of things where you write out a list to yourself, certain behavioral patterns that you see in your partner that gives you pause to think about. It stands out to you, and it's not standing out in a good way. It makes you really consider things, and we know ourselves the best. We know when we see red flags, and sometimes we have a tendency to want to put it aside or ignore those red flags and just be like, oh, okay, you know what, that's just, I don't need to pay attention to that. And sometimes we need to listen to our gut when we see certain things that is questionable and we're trying to ignore them. Particularly when it comes to jealousy and envy, that is never going to change in a relationship. You may hope for the best that that person will change, but if you're noticing that pattern in your relationship where your significant other is demonstrating that kind of behavior, that's not going to change even down the road. If they're jealous and envious of you, that's going to be a persistent pattern in your relationship. And you have to decide, is that something that you want long term for yourself? Do you want a partner that's not going to be supportive of you or constantly trying to compete with you instead of being a partner with you and supporting you and being happy for you? When these types of traits are present in a relationship, sometimes these are grounds, particularly for domestic violence, because your significant other has this envy and jealousy towards you. It creates toxicity in your relationship and can lead to forms of even just emotional abuse, not always physical abuse. And so a lot of times in abusive relationships, you have this like tension building phase. And in that, a lot of times you may be trying to placate your partner and try to make them happy so that nothing erupts. And no matter what you do, that cycle is going to keep repeating. And so in the early phases of a relationship, if you're noticing certain traits about your significant other or a person that you're interested in pursuing, that they have these traits about them, that they're envious and jealous and insecure, how are you going to have a healthy relationship, a healthy foundation? That can never be, because you only have power and control over yourself. You cannot control other people and their emotions. And so if they're dealing with some insecurities within themselves, that they have to address that. And until they do, that's never going to change as far as the dynamic in your relationship with them. So aside from jealousy that a person may exude, another sign that can be evident that you're in an unhealthy relationship, whether you're a woman in a relationship with a guy or vice versa, or whatever your relationship looks like for you that you're in or seeking out, I should say. If you notice that your significant other gets angry if you go and you want to hang out with your family, or you want to go and hang out with your friends sometimes, if they're upset about that and they're constantly wanting to isolate you away from everyone, you really have to take heed of that. Because is that healthy, that where you're never allowed to talk to your family members or go hang out with your family members or friends? And I'm not saying that every day you may be hanging out with your family, but even if it's on occasions or on the weekends or whatever, especially if it's family, you may see your family more often than friends, depending on the circumstances. But if they always have a problem with it every single time, that's something to think about and take heed of. Because is that healthy? Is that person secure in themselves if they never want to see you engage or socially interact with anyone else besides them? That's something to really think about. Especially that can be definitely a sign that you're possibly even in an abusive relationship, because a lot of times people who are in domestic violence relationships or intimate partner abuse, a lot of times the significant other does not want you interacting with anyone else. They want to monitor your time, your social interaction with other people, sometimes even at work. So it's just something to really think about and explore if you're noticing certain traits like that in a relationship, to not ignore them, to really be aware and reflect on that. And you have to ask yourself those questions. Do you want to be in something like that long term? You may care about that person and like certain traits about them, but you have to also think about the other traits that are not healthy. And are those other traits outweighing the other side of things? I just wanted to make a short video discussing this because this is definitely relevant and affects a lot of people. And so I would love to read any comments or feedback you have based on your experiences and what you've encountered or whatever you feel comfortable sharing. And if you'd like me to do actually another video on this particular subject, just let me know in the comments section, because I could also definitely do a second segment on this, because you can definitely dive a little deeper into some of the signs that you're in an unhealthy relationship. But until next time, if you could please hit the like and subscribe button, and also share with family members and friends, I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, take care.